My parents watched it. My mom's reaction was, I don't like that hat you wear in that one episode.
Is it the one where he has like kind of like this?
Yeah, it is. Oh, so you didn't like it either? My parents, they watched the whole thing and that was the one thing that they said.
As you coming into this whole thing as a skeptic, how do you feel about it now?
I think that's real. That's real. Like, if you don't like my face doing that, then you will not enjoy it a lot because it's mostly just me with my jaw on the floor.
What's up, everybody? I'm Emmett.
I'm Joe.
And we're the UFO Bros, and we're here with Matthew Scott Montgomery from Unidentified with Demi Lovato, now streaming on PEACOCK.
I'm hitting the road with my best friend Matthew and my sister Dallas.
Say hi to Night Vision.
Hi, Night Vision.
Yes.
Let me tell you something. Obviously, we're in this show, but this was the most fun we've ever had with a group of people. We didn't know what to expect.
Same.
And you were so much fun. We had a blast. What was it like for you just kind of going about your normal life and then somebody says, hey, you want to do a UFO show with Demi? Like, what was like your thinking?
Well, first of all, thank you so much for having me. I'm also like gagging for your purple and green lights that are happening right now. It's giving Goosebumps, which is like, I'm obsessed with Goosebumps, the TV series and the book.
I didn't even realize that.
Oh, yeah, huh? Actually,
that makes me so happy. I will get to answer your question in a second. I just wanted to point out how much I love those colors.
Thank you.
And it was so amazing. That was our first night of shooting was with you guys. That was our very first day of shooting. And I didn't know what to expect either. Well, I mean, Demi's my best friend and they've always been interested in UFOs. They've always been interested in like the sky and what's above and conspiracy theories and things like that. So that's not a new part of our friendship. That's not a new part of Demi at all. So I think about a year ago, Demi texted me, was like, we're doing a TV show for NBC where we're going to go hunt aliens. I was like, okay. I was like, cool. I mean, like, did I think it was actually going to happen? I was like 50-50. I mean, Demi and I met on the same television show where I'm an actor, and a lot of times in the entertainment industry, like stuff never happens. So it's like you meet about stuff and you take meetings, and then a lot of times it's like, if you book acting work, the joke is like, don't tell anyone about it until your first residual check is cleared because you might be cut out of it. You might, all kinds of things might happen. So I was like, sure. Are we shooting a TV series where we're going to go ET hunting? Maybe, you know what I mean? But like, of course I'm down. You know what I mean? I did definitely come in as the skeptic. But we took a few meetings. It happened very quickly. So like Demi brought it up about a year ago. And then we met like in April and twice in April, and the next thing I know, we were shooting in May. So I didn't have a whole lot of time to think about it too much. And because Demi's schedule is so all over the place, and mine can be depending on what we're doing, sometimes we don't get to see each other as much as we would like. So all I knew for sure is that I was going to get an entire month together with them. So that was like a real thrill. So I was like, sure, let's do it. Let's hunt ETs. Let's meet the UFO Bros. Let's go all over the United States. I'm so down. So I was excited. I'd never done, I'm used to working with a script. So I do have improv experience, but this was something that was very different. So it was like, you could call it a documentary series. You could call it reality TV, whatever you want to call it. It was brand new. So I didn't really know what to expect, but having you guys there for our first night of shooting, I was like, wait, no, this is real. This is fun. Whoa. Stuff's actually happening. It was very exciting.
That's awesome. That's fantastic. I remember when sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead, bro.
Actually, I was going to have you go into the next question, which is perfect.
Oh, yeah. As you coming into this whole thing as a skeptic, how do you feel about it now?
I think I'm undecided, but I'm like positively undecided. What I mean by that is like optimistically undecided, where I'm like, I'm not sure what I think, which I think is, did I see UFOs? Yes. I saw unidentified flying objects. Check. You know what I mean? I always thought that like making contact with ETs would be like, a pop culture reference of like gray fingers touching and then, we're like, contact. And I quickly learned a whole lot really quickly about like what actually making contact means, and that's like, seeing stuff in the sky that kind of, shows up for you in a way. I will say after we wrapped the show, I became kind of the teacher a little bit to some other of my friends. I remember
Great.
I was
That's
in
awesome.
yeah, I was like in Palm Springs with a boy, and we were just like in this like pool at nighttime, and there was like stars in the sky, and he was asking me, he was like, "How was the show? How was it working on it?" And I was like telling him, teaching him things about it, and then we started seeing shooting stars in the sky like quite a bit. We saw like 5 right back to back to back to back. And then we saw like glowing lights and shit. Like we saw
Oh, wow.
we saw something that I can't explain, you guys. And then it happened again this past October. And so like I don't know how to explain that stuff. You know what I mean? And like it's really easy when you're like surrounded by it. Like when I was around you guys, literally everyone in the crew too believed in everything. I was the only one that was like skeptical. Like Demi's hair and makeup team, like everyone believed in all of it. So I was kind of like like trying to like keep up with all of it. And when you're in it, you really start to believe the stuff that you see. But then you get some distance from it and you're like, I don't know, was that real? But within a month of getting distance, I saw some stuff in the sky that I can't explain. You know
I
what I
want
mean?
to talk about that because we've said this kind of over and over since our experiences. When we got into this, we'd never seen a UFO. We were just kind of hoping that we were going to find something interesting. And it wasn't until Joe and I went out to the desert one time that we saw something. And then we saw it again that night we were filming.
Yeah.
And I tell people all the time that you have to look for it. You have to want an experience. I mean, there was something about the collective consciousness or the energy or just being around the same people that had the same intention and hope of seeing something.
Yeah.
And we did.
Yeah.
And almost every time Joe and I, right, Joe, we go and we do something, we see something weird, or when we meet people to do sky watches, even them seeing a satellite, that blows them away, even if it's just a satellite.
Yeah.
And then, watching these unidentified flying objects, UAP,
that's
flash.
Right. UAP, yes.
What'd you say? Yes. Unidentified. Well, WAP would be weird aerial phenomena. That's one.
Or something else.
WAP. Something. Yeah, something you need a lot of towels, right?
Yeah.
That song is so dirty. But by the way, can I just say, I'm so glad there's another gay on this right now. Oh my God. I just want to say, no offense, Joe. No offense.
Yeah, you're the odd man, Joe. Ha ha ha. We get to bully you.
Yeah. Yeah, you get bullied. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't care about that.
I did.
Joe, I'm just kidding. I'm kidding.
Well, Joe has 7,000 children.
I have 7 kids.
Hybrid children?
Kind of.
I call them.
Oh, wow. Yeah, kind of. Yeah, a little bit. Yes.
Well, it's 2 families blended.
Oh, wait, that sounds like a sitcom.
It is.
Brady Bunch.
Whoa.
7 kids and failing.
I would watch, Joe.
I wouldn't watch it. I'm just saying, I would not watch that show.
Well,
I watch it enough. I've seen every season.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
There were times when we were filming that, specifically when we were in Arizona, when we were done working for the day, and Demi and I, just the 2 of us, snuck out, and we would go look. We would do like a sky watch essentially. And there was one night where we saw so much stuff in the sky, and we're like, oh my God, where are the cameras when we need them? Like, right. And we were shooting our big sky watch the next night in Arizona, and we were like, oh God, I hope that they show up tomorrow night. I was like, I hope they show up for the show, because right now,
what did you see?
It was blinking and moving lights, and they didn't change color or anything, but it was like stuff that would get very, very bright and then disappear, and then stuff that would move really, really fast. Now, we were watching for like 2 hours. In the middle of, we had like Max security guard was with us, but like, we kind of got done at like, I think like 9 o'clock filming, and Demi's like, do you want to go back out and see what we can find? I was like, yeah. So we like out and saw some stuff, but we ended up seeing a lot of the similar stuff the next night, luckily with the cameras. It's tough because like you know, it's hard to capture that stuff. It's like you kind of have to experience it for yourself. But I thought the show and the production team did a really, really good job of capturing exactly how it felt. I was a little bit nervous about filming the show because I was afraid that like, oh, will it look hokey? Will it not look like what it felt like? And I will say that it looked exactly how I felt when we were experiencing it. I thought the cameras did a really good job of capturing it. I wasn't sure like how night vision would work and things like that. And then as recently as on Thanksgiving last week, not to timestamp us, Thanksgiving, whenever that was, Demi and I were
Whatever
FaceTime,
year.
and Demi was like, "I think I'm gonna do a Skywatch tonight." I was like, "Absolutely."
It's awesome.
Yeah.
I love how every time Demi says, you're like, oh yes.
Well, also, I
We
think
must.
that joy is in limited supply as a human existence, and so whatever brings you joy and gives you joy, you should seek it out as much as possible and try to experience
Absolutely.
it as much
Can
as
I just pause that because I want to talk about for a second a little bit of this, like controversy or whatever surrounding Demi being into UFOs and extraterrestrials. I think it's fantastic that Demi was able to participate in something that wasn't music and singing related. I mean, because
Yeah.
you know what I mean? Like, I would imagine that's Demi's life. And Demi was able to just hang out and kick it. And
that was
Skywatch.
Yeah, one of the most exciting things about the show and what was so appealing to it to me was to get to have fun. And we had a lot of fun. You know, I think it's hard for me to step outside of Demi's and my friendship or frankly like Demi in general because there's someone who's so close to me and like I don't know how you feel about your best friend, but I just assume, you're very close to your best friend. So it's like I don't um I don't know how to step outside and look at it really, but my understanding I think is that at least some people have equated some of Demi's music or the documentaries that we've done as Demi's dealt with a whole lot, right? The best students get the hardest lessons, and Demi's had a lot of tough lessons that they've had to learn. And I think, a lot of times we don't see Demi having like fun. And like that's who I know. You know what I mean? Like that's who like we like giggle and screech and tickle and roll around and just have like the greatest time. And so I knew that this was something that gave them such extreme joy and it was a really fun thing that they were genuinely curious about. And I wanted to be there for that journey. And the majority of social media has been kind about Unidentified, especially the fans and stuff like that. And so I'm so thrilled that they got to see a little glimpse. There's certain moments, and I think if you know me well enough just through social media, you can know when we're actually having a whole lot of fun. And there's a lot of moments in I think every episode where we're like legitimately having a good time, cameras or not. You know what I'm saying?
Andrew Knock explained it as Coachella on the road. You know, I was like, a big party. What's it like to hang out with Demi?
Oh yeah, I would say like we had some really good like clean family fun in Unidentified for sure.
I know that when we showed up and met you all, immediately, I was like, this is going to be a blast.
Yeah.
So we're also going to ask you just a few questions about some things that's been going around on social media.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I think you can clear these up pretty easily, right, Joe?
Okay.
Oh yeah. So I want to hear the one. Well, it's been going around is Demi singing to a ghost.
Yes. Yes.
What are your thoughts at the moment?
So I love you two so much, and no offense, but I think my favorite experience with Unidentified was that moment. Because I identify as a ghost person. Now, here's the thing. Here's the twist, though. I went into as a skeptic for all kinds of paranormal phenomena. I love scary stuff. You can't really. I'm kind of decorated for Christmas right now.
I can tell. Watching your social media, I could tell.
Yeah.
You're always doing some kind of spooky, scary thing.
Yes, I'm a Halloweeny. I love scary stuff. I love scary movies. Demi and I have been ghost hunting before. That's one of the main things we have in common is we love scary stuff. So that moment there, it's in the second episode, I think, when we were in this haunted brothel in Vulture City, Arizona. And we you know, at the time, Demi was still identifying as female. So just to preface some of the story, but what we had been told when we got there was that this certain brothel where these three sex workers who had passed away there haunted this brothel, right? And
Sexy ghosts.
what's that?
Are they sexy ghosts?
I certainly thought so.
Yeah.
And there it was Carmen, Lily, and I forget the third one. No offense to her. It's in the episode. But they told us that like they didn't want men in there. The ghosts did not feel comfortable with men there, and so they wanted Demi to communicate with the spirits that were in there. And you guys, very quickly after getting in there, we started communicating with Carmen the ghost, and we had these like boxes that were set up kind of all over that I held and saw, and production wasn't pulling any kind of tricks. You know, there wasn't a lot of behind the scenes really. Like you kind of saw everything. We're traveling together, so we all like saw everything. You know what I mean? Like we're all very close together, like Andrew and the crew. So it wasn't like there was some big production where they were faking stuff and there was a Wizard of Oz curtain or something or anything like that. And so pretty soon these boxes that we had set up in there were lighting up when Demi was asking yes or no questions. And through the yes or no questions, we very quickly found out that this was Carmen. And Demi like intuitively picked up the fact that Carmen had trauma with men, and then Demi shared that they had trauma as well, and then they picked up on the fact that Carmen was a musician, maybe even a singer, and like they just like bonded. Honestly, I was like shipping the two of them. Like I want like Carmen and Demi to get together, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
like, you gotta go through me when you're dating Demi, so it's like Carmen has my stamp of approval. I mean, I guess she's a little old for Demi, but she's also dead, so but well, we love her. So like there was a part where me and one of the ghost hunters were in this other room, and Demi was asking if it was okay asking Carmen if it was okay if me and this other guy came into the room, and Carmen was saying no. And this was not a produced moment. I just thought of this in the moment because I was like, oh, they're both musicians. I was like, Demi, maybe you can sing Carmen a song as an offering to like, you know, allow us to enter. Because when we got to Vulture City, there was a huge deal about the Pure Intentions coming in, and we gave offerings, me, Dallas, and Demi, when we got there off camera, and we're meeting with the people there and the indigenous people there, and we did like a protection ceremony, and there was a lot of stuff about being like I don't mean to use this word a whole lot today, but pure, like how we're coming in. So like I was like, okay, maybe we can do an offering here, because you know that's what we'd been doing the night before and all day really. And you know, Demi sang Skyscraper, and it was phenomenal, of course, and then Carmen and let us in, and then I genuinely felt a friendly essence of this spirit that we were communicating with. And that was like, so I mean, like I had an incredible experience with you two and in Arizona as well, because of the stuff in the sky, but there was something about being in like frankly a haunted brothel where it felt like it was right there, you know what I mean?
I get like I always use the word energy, but I don't really know how else to describe it. But like, you know, you're right. With sky watching, it's definitely different than being like in the space that shit went down. Yeah. And you know, you got Carmen the ghost. I wanted you to talk about that because people are, you know, saying on social media that Demi's crazy, Demi's gone, whatever that they think it is. And I'm like, people, we sing to Jesus all the time. We sing to Santa. Like I mean, people sing at funerals for dead people. Who cares? You know? And frankly, it's because Demi did it better than everybody else. What do you say to those people that say Demi's gone off the deep end for singing to a ghost?
Well, I guess the algorithm was kind enough to me that I didn't see much of that. But I would say, like, I guess from a purely ego-driven, selfish place, I would be like, well, that would make me crazy too, I guess, because, you know, if Demi's crazy, then I'm crazy, and then so was everyone there. You know what I mean? It was my idea for Demi to sing. So if anything, I'm the crazy one, I guess. You know, no one makes Demi do anything that they don't want to do, but that was my idea. And also, I think I think kindness is free, and that
Hmm.
you know, whether you believe in something or not. And frankly, I don't believe in a lot of the stuff that the crew believed, or you know, going into it, and still I'm unsure about all of it. But I believe in my friends, and I believe in whatever makes you happy. And I saw that this was, you know, this is such a huge part of, you know, just think of your best friend having a hobby that they're really really interested in, and you want to
Hmm.
share that with them. And so a lot of it was Demi teaching me that hobby, and I think a lot of it, I'm inferring, because I didn't see exactly what you're talking about, but I'm inferring that these are probably people who didn't watch the show or don't know very much about it. I think if you
Hmm.
watch the show, it's just like so it's pretty lighthearted and fun, and it comes from a genuine place of curiosity. And I think,
Spiritual.
what's up?
Spiritual.
Yeah, and I think you know, if there's sound bites, or when you read something, you know, especially on Twitter, it can be very carefully chosen or worded to only
Of
represent
course.
one kind of idea completely out of context. And I think, you know, when I think of Unidentified, I think of it as a very fun, lighthearted experience. Now, this is like stuff beyond the galaxy, and we interviewed a lot of people who dealt with some very, very heavy things. But the energy of saying anyone who is involved in it is crazy doesn't match the energy that I felt while I was participating in it, because it seemed like such a curious, forward thinking, fun, exploratory activity or exercise. Does that make sense?
Well, you went into it
Yeah.
learning about it, which is so
Mhm.
great because when you don't really know what you don't know,
Right.
you experience new things and you're not biased towards it. And I always tell people, if you're going to complain and bitch, go do it yourself.
Yeah.
Go do it yourself.
Yourself.
Grab your friends,
Yeah.
call up the UFO Bros or whatever. We'll go out and we'll do some stuff that's gonna, bring the hair up on the back of your neck.
It's
Yeah.
also it's also entertainment. It's a 4 part
Yes.
series of fun on Peacock. You know what I mean? Like it's not it's
It's a great time and it covers
yeah.
all aspects of the phenomenon,
Yeah, I think
which is great.
yeah, a lot of people that watched, of course, were fans of Demi's and had fun following the adventure. And then I think another chunk of fans who watched it were encounter survivors, or had experienced something, and were you know, big ET and UFO fanatics is the wrong word, I think, but like fans of you know, the genre of television. And I think a lot of people felt validated by the show and certain things. And you know, I think that's a lot of the reason why I was there, was because, you know, I think you kind of got to follow it through my experience, because I kind of came into it like, you know, I don't know what all this stuff's about, okay, kind of
Mm,
thing. But it wasn't like, skeptics like like it feels like that. It's like, prove to me it's real. This is fake.
exactly.
But I was
Yeah.
kind of
Well,
like,
and it's
I don't
also
really.
it's fake. Show me the evidence. Like
Yeah.
you go, you get the
Exactly.
evidence and bring it to me.
Yeah. Also,
No.
like, I mean, the three of us don't know each other super well, but I hope you gather from me enough that like what you see is what you get with me, pretty much. Like usually when people meet
Yeah.
me, they're like, "You're exactly the same as you are on social media." I'm like,
Yeah.
because like that's just
Yeah.
like how I am. Do you know what I mean? So like, um, that you can just I'm a pretty genuine person who, you know, has his feet on the ground, but also loves a lot and is very curious, and was really thrilled to be part of this experience. And you know, those people who didn't enjoy it, I guess, or were saying people are crazy, then don't watch it.
Yeah.
I want to move on to one other sort of social media splash
Okay.
that was made. Demi saying that we should not use the word alien.
Hmm.
And that made, I don't know if you saw that, that made a huge splash within the UFO community as well, which, we're a part of.
I think one thing that I learned through this experience, or learned even more, was that I think language is really important. I mean, we're kind of in this like structure. I could get into a whole speech about institutionalized heteronormativity, but like labels are very, very important for people, like especially heteronormative culture needs like a label for everything so they can understand how everything kind of fits in there. And at the same time, I do think the words that we use are really important because of pop culture negative connotations that certain things have. There's reasons why we don't like being called certain names or we're offended by stuff because of the weight that those words have. And I think if you saw any like interview, and I did a lot of press with Demi where that would come up, where, you know, saying instead of saying alien, saying ET. If you watch any of that stuff, we're not like we're not laughing, but there's like a really positive kind of like cute giggly energy behind it where it's like, you know, maybe we shouldn't be using that word right now, maybe we should think about something else. Like that was like very the energy of it. And I think it's because, and this is something I learned a whole lot, that the term alien, me as a skeptic, you know, coming in, when I think of alien, I think of Independence Day, of some like monsters that are going to come attack and kill us and abduct us. You know, I also think there's really negative connotations for illegal alien as well. You know what I mean? That's for another podcast that I could talk about that. So I think like we as a, you know, culture, I think specifically like an American culture, probably the word alien has a really negative connotation to it.
Baggage.
I think baggage, yes, very much, very
significant. That's like the word, like UFO comes with a whole shit ton of baggage, which is why they changed the term to UAP.
Yes, and I think
so. Why can't we use different words? You know, we can.
Lot of
it's been done for years.
Yeah, and a lot of like coming into the show was almost everyone we talked to was like, this is not something to be scared of. You've like because of movies and television, whatever it is. You know, this is not a scary thing. The majority of the people that we talked to, and it was all a positive thing. And anything I've only ever heard from Demi is that it's something that gives them joy and curiosity. And it seems like a really like fun place for them to live, to try to discover this stuff. And so this is Unidentified is fun. It was really fun to look up in the sky and see stuff and learn things like that. And I think the idea behind the language between alien and ET was ET, I mean, pop culture, we have connotations of a sweet alien with Reese's Pieces touching fingers, you know what I mean? So it's like, if you like, language is important, you know what I mean? So it's like how we describe things informs how we feel about it. Should it be that way? Probably not, but unfortunately that's the way that it is. So I think it was just like a fun thing to bring up in press and conversations to switch the narrative from, because a lot of the questions we got on doing press were like, oh no, aliens coming to abduct you, aliens to attack you. How could you
probe you?
Green aliens. Like that's a lot of what we heard. And so I think the message that we were trying to portray with the show is like, this is a fun experiment where we want to learn more about what's in the sky and the beautiful universe that God has created. So like I think that that's where the idea of ET versus alien came in. So if you like if you watch any clip of Demi talking about it, that's the energy that's coming from it, or any of us really. So
it's that big smile and that big boisterous laugh. Beautiful laugh. I love that laugh. I was like, I'm stealing.
Best sound in the
Demi had a smile from ear to ear the whole time.
Find me a more beautiful smile, you won't.
What's that?
I said, find me a more beautiful smile, you won't.
Nope.
Earlier, you were talking to your friends about the phenomena. How do younger people talk to other younger people about the UFO phenomena? What are some tips? Like, how do you bring it up to your friends?
I think it's a lot in line of what we were just talking about with like, I hate to harp on it or keep bringing it up, but like the alien versus ET thing, like learning words like UAP. The first thing I lead with usually when I was talking to people about the show who are skeptics was saying what UFO stands for and saying literally what does that mean, and kind of like opening the door to say it's okay to say I'm undecided about this stuff, and to acknowledge that there's something out there, and it's like a fun thing to try to figure it out. It's also like a fun thing to give your theories back and forth. You know what I mean? Like, I guess something out there has to be the truth, but we most likely will never know. So I think it's a fun thing to bond over and to explore and watch documentaries about it and have conversations about it, or go into the middle of a desert and just look in the sky and see what you see. At the very least, the sky is gorgeous. So at the very least,
do you get dizzy?
What's up?
We were out in Roswell at the crash site. We got to go sometime. Would you want to go?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
What about Area 51?
Yeah.
Well, let's go.
Yeah, I can't believe we didn't go for season 1, to be honest, because that seems like a no-brainer. But maybe they wanted to start us off small, because those seem like the meccas.
Joe and I, we spent the night at one of the Roswell crash sites, and looking up at the sky, it was just dizzying.
Yeah.
Literally, because we're always here or whatever.
Yeah.
So I like that advice. Talk about the stupid acronyms, watch stuff together, make it a social event.
Yeah.
You know? That's what this should be about. It's another way to connect with your friends and family. Get out there, explore, wonder what the hell is out there.
Also,
and what's really in the skies.
It's a good way to like step outside of yourself, as
Absolutely.
I'm a millennial, and so we grew up with like hustle culture, you know what I mean? So it's like, and as an actor too, like a starving artist, struggling actor trying to make your dreams come true, it's really easy to get lost in Instagram and Earth and looking down. And I think when we look up and look out and we realize how small that we are and how much beauty there is out there, sometimes it's like, go for a walk, go outside, read a book, look at the sky. You know what I mean? There's something about it that's, it's equal parts. It's mystifying for sure, staring at the sky, but it's also like puts in perspective, like that Instagram post doesn't really matter. There's comets up there. You know what I mean? I think it's good to take some time to go on a road trip with your friends like Demi and I did, and like, go stare at the sky for a while, like at least to just get out of this. You know what I mean? I think that's a positive thing.
That was fucking perfect. That was fucking perfect.
I was being graded on these answers, Emmett.
You got the part, sweetie.
So what's new? What are you guys up to right now in your lives? How are things going?
We just got done filming in Roswell for a project. Yeah. We're in line for some other shows and things but we just bought like some new equipment. Like, we bought like a kick-ass sky cam. It's the same kind of thing that you look on the iPad, so we can go out there and really like record it and do stuff.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So do you guys get together and organize trips so you spend some time together, or do you?
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, like I'll usually go see Joe, and then we'll go sky watch, film some stuff, look around, because that's like Bigfoot country too. So
I've never been to Oregon before.
Oh, it's so there's some sites up here.
I'm sure.
That's why I loved it. That's why I moved here.
Really? Okay. There's just the pure beauty that brought you there?
Yeah, being in Sacramento for 38 years or 36 years, the cement city kind of got to us, and we came out here, and once we saw the beauty of it, like when it snows here, it's amazing.
Oh, fun!
It's like just enough snow, right?
Oh yeah, just enough.
Yeah, you're not like digging out your door.
Nope.
I don't want to take too much of your time. Is there anything, Matthew, that you want to add, or anything at all that you think that we should know about?
To anybody who's listening or watching this podcast who watched Unidentified and enjoyed it, I'm so thankful that you watched and enjoyed our journey. We had a lot of fun making it, and I hope it opened up some conversations with you or whoever is your family or chosen family to talk about those things. If you're listening to this and you haven't watched the series or are curious about it, it's just 4 episodes on Peacock, and it's a total blast. If you don't have access to Peacock or can't get that, a lot of clips are on from YouTube and are frankly on my social media. My Instagram is Matthew_Scott_Montgomery, and a lot of the Carmen Ghost stuff I was speaking of is actually on there. Also, you two are on there as well, I think in a couple posts that I've made. And so I encourage you, if you're curious, to check those out. And as I was talking before, and I was like, I'm kind of like a spooky person, like a spooky little baby who loves like creepy stuff. One of the most exciting things that I've been working on post Unidentified is I wrote a horror movie called Howdy Neighbor. That's a queer stalker movie. And I've always wanted to be in a horror movie, and it's like kind of my dream. And so I wrote one for myself, and one of my co-stars from Sunny with a Chance and So Random, who was on the show with Demi and I Her name is Allison. It was Allison Ashley Arms. She's been married since. She's Allison Snyder now. She will be directing it, and we are going to be shooting that in early 2022. And I'm very excited about shooting that film, and that's kind of a scream come true. I don't know exactly when it will be out, but you can check my social media for updates on that. And we haven't announced official cast, but if you were a fan of mine from Disney Channel and the Nickelodeon stuff I used to do, I think you'll be pleased with some of the possibly familiar faces you'll see in the cast.
That's awesome.
I like what'd you say? Oh crap, you said it and I laughed. What was it? Something of your screams. That was funny.
Oh, my screams come true.
Screams come true. That's so cool.
I love that.
Yes.
Well, thank you for coming on the show there, Matthew. I hope you come back again sometime because I can't wait to hear some more good stuff.
Yeah, you guys are such a total blast. It's sorry it took me so long to get on here, but everything happens for a reason in the universe, and so I'm glad it all lined up now. I adore you both, and thank you for having me.
UFOs, aliens.